Good afternoon and welcome to round 11 of the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legend Series. All season long, we've been watching these drivers race around the globe in one of the most challenging cars sim racing has to offer. Today, the caravan stops in Brazil, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hello, I'm Ossian Puhakka, and joining me in our cozy booth is Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director, Christian Duploy, and he's using cameras provided by Doggy Beard. So, Interlagos first opened in 1940 and has since become the home of Brazilian motorsport. To learn more, let's go to the GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Autodromo's Jose Carlos Pache. Most fans and drivers simply know this place as Interlagos. Starting life as an absolute behemoth of a circuit, this Brazilian track was eventually truncated to the version you see today. Having hosted Formula One for roughly 3 decades, it's become very well known on the international stage. But it has also held rounds in the World Endurance Championship, as well as frequently seen Brazilian stock cars, motorcycles, and even truck racing. There's little difference between its two layouts, which includes the GP course and the Moto course, which simply adds a chicane to the end of the lap. In both cases, it's a tale of two circuits. The run past the start-finish line and into the Senna S, followed by the blast towards the Descida do Lago, are very high-speed sections that come back-to-back. Drivers will need to focus on top end in order to attack or defend. Expect most passes to happen in those two corners. But from Ferradura until Junção, the track suddenly twists itself into a mess of hairpins and frustratingly technical turns. This can make car setup a real compromise, and for the latter part of the lap, an absolute pain when dealing with traffic. Pit exit is also a narrow affair, so it requires drivers to take care when trying to maximize their outlaps. On the upside, with this being a modern F1 track, there's paved runoff in abundance at many of the fast corners. The passion of the Brazilian fans always comes out in force at races, and it's no wonder with this picturesque track sandwiched right amongst the neighborhoods of Sao Paulo.
So that's the refresher. That's where we are. But this time, it's not clock, but it is time, Ryan, to race Lotus 49s around here. How's that gonna work?
Yeah, the Lotus 49 racing around this fantastic Interlagos track, or as it's formerly known as Sao Paulo. And this track's been around for quite some time, and it was first established back in the 1940s. And today, this is the configuration that we've got. The track is 15 turns, and it's the Grand Prix layout, and it's 2.676 miles in length. And as you see there, this track's got 15 turns. And the Lotus 49 around this track is it's a fun car, but it can bite you. And I think the best passing opportunities is going to be into turn 1 and turn 2, the Senna S. And then you've got that long sweeping left-hander where the car can get a bit sketchy on you if you're too aggressive around the curve of the Sol. And then you've got the run down the Reta Oposta where you can try and make a move, but you've got to be fully alongside. And if you try and send it from way back, it can ended up in disaster. And then you've got the twisty section where it's pretty much difficult to pass, and again the car gets a bit sketchy on you, so you've got to be super smooth. And then you've got the final corner, or the final couple of corners, with Junção being another possible passing opportunity. And Junção, you want to get the exit perfect because you want to try and carry as much speed as possible up the run up the hill and heading up to the start finish line. And I think the name of the game, Ossian, today is going to be patience, patience, and patience.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Junção, I always think of it as a sort of a MAD, mutually assured destruction, because if you go for an overtake there, you ruin both of your runs onto that long sweeping main straight. So it's essentially a last lap power move is what it's gonna be, unless you're pretty desperate to go for that overtake. Anyway, we do have a championship too. We got 3 rounds remaining, including this one, and it is a great championship battle with many of our protagonists having battled all the way throughout the season. Seb Tixier, currently leading the championship with 423 points, only 9 ahead of Jorge Nieva. And Nicola Cocchi still to win a race this season, mind you, but he's third in the championship. He's just 39 points behind the lead, and a win here would do wonders for the Italian Championship Challenge. Now, how about Hisara Togo? He's fourth, 52 points behind, and we know what this Japanese driver can do in many of the cars, many of the classic cars. He's a pretty rapid driver and a car control miracle. Audrius Valentieus, the Lithuanian, of course, 6 race wins this season, only sitting 5th in the championship due to having missed a couple of rounds, but he is on absolute fire this season, both here in Lotus 49s and in the IMSA Vintage, which you'll see later this evening. Kevin Verbruggen, Uwe Trengrade, as well as Cam Podek, Gary Ho and Steve Maurice, rounding out your top 10 in F1. And how about F2 Cup, Ryan?
Yeah, the F2 driver standings is still really close at the moment, with Jan Stevens currently leading the way in the championship, with Jonathan Jourdain in second, only 13 points further back. And then you've got the Scandinavian driver of Tobias Hernvey in third, with David Muse in fourth, 56 points further back. And then Thomas Tuba in fifth, with Roberto Pangrazzi in sixth. Seventh is Andreas Bruno, with Mats Lundin in eighth. And in ninth you've got Thomas Willehausen the ninth, and then you've rounded out the top 10 in that championship is Alan Graham, and as it stands at the moment, it's pretty much a four-way fight for that championship, with Thomas Tuba still mathematically in contention along with Roberto Pangrazzi.
Yeah, so it's great to see these up-and-coming drivers in the F2 driver standings as well, trying to fight for the title, trying to make their name known at the top echelon of the Lotus 49 Championship. Now we have a Nations Cup as well. This is something we don't have in real life really, but this is something we have here in the virtual world. And Spain is currently leading the Nations Cup pretty well, 52 points ahead of a surprise name in Singapore. Then you got Italy, just 3 points behind. United States and United Kingdom continuing the battle just outside of the podium spots, 4th and 5th. Netherlands and Japan 6th and 7th. Then you got Germany, Lithuania, pretty much carried by Audrius Valentieus, and Norway with Uwe Trengrade, their leading driver, rounding out the top 10 of the Nations Cup. But today we're at Interlagos, as mentioned before, and with your race details, Ryan Walker.
Absolutely. So this is round 11 of the 13-round season, and just a side note as well. Some people are maybe thinking they thought it was maybe a 12-round season, but with iRacing adding an extra week for this season, it's 13 rounds, and the race length for today will be 21 laps. Around this Interlagos track, probably feels like an eternity with these 49s. And as the setups as always are open, so any changes that you want to make, you are free to do so, and there is no spare car or fast repair. So if you wreck out of this race or get major damage, you are pretty much done in the race. Drive-through penalty is at 17x, so once you get to that, you will get a drive-through, and if you get to 25x, you've got the pretty much the hammer of the disqualification from the race.
Yep. That's the basic gist of it. So if you wreck it, you buy it, and so on and so forth. And speaking of buying, if you are looking to renew your iRacing subscription, now is the time. The biggest iRacing sale of the year, Black Friday, is on now through December the 2nd. 50% off of all new memberships. So if you're looking to join iRacing, please do. The time is now. 50% off. You're paying only half the price. Don't pay full price, pay half price. That's much better. And early renewals and reactivations. If you're looking to top up your iRacing subscription, you'll get 1 quarter. That's 25% off on Toast now. Go to your browser and go to iRacing.com/Black Friday for all our sales there. Or rather, all iRacing sales there. And keep calm and praise camera. Now, the qualifying is going on at the moment, and looking at the weather, it is pretty typically, a pretty nice day for racing. We got the sun shining behind some clouds, maybe partly cloudy there, looking pretty warm, and no snow inside. So that's already better than here.
Yeah, absolutely. As qualifying is just about to come to a close, and Yeah, interesting at the moment. Interesting grid, but as always, is Adrius Valenteus on the pole position.
Adrius, how can we stop ya? That is the question many of these drivers are asking. He is on the pole position with a 132.895. Jorge Nieva just 1/10 shy of him in the second position. Then it's Nicola Koki, the race chasing his first win of the season in third place. Togo Hisada with him in second row. Mick Claridge, great to see him driving, starting fifth today with Uwe Trengrad in sixth. Sepp Tixier in seventh position with car number 7. Leo Seguiro in 8th place, Kevin Verbruggen 9th, and look at this, we got a guy from Lotus 79s trying to race with no wings, Pauli Partanen, rounding out your top 10.
Yep, Steve Bozza starts in 11th, with Olsen alongside him in 12th, and the second of the Olsens in 13th, with Marco Antonio Lopez Salgado in 14th, with Roberto Pangrazi 15th, and then Robert Plumley 16th, with Matthew Maudsley in 17th, Hannah Fechner in 18th, and then Jack Wells in 19th, and rounding out the 20 is Juan Rodriguez.
Yep, and then we get a next page because we got a lot of drivers here today. Kirk Clapper starting 21st, Alan Graham in 22nd, Tobias Hervey in 23rd with Sandeep Banerjee in 24th. Imagine this man has won an iRacing Oval World Championship Series race way back over 10 years ago. And Cam Porter starting 25th, Andres Bruno in 26th, Javier Garcia in 27th, Michael Grisinger in 28th, Chen Steffen in 29th, and Thomas Tuba rounding out the top 30.
Yep, and then David Muse in 31st with Jonathan Jourdain 32nd, Ron Solka 33rd, and the last driver to set a lap time is Branislav Holika.
Yep, and we are going straight to the race start, and we are underway. Great start from Outers there, starting from the outside, as you can see. The pole position, of course, on the outside here at Interlagos, but he's getting challenged into the first corner. Let's see if they all make it clean throughout this one. A little bit of 2 wide, a little bit of 3 wide, but amazingly, all these almost 40 cars have made it through the Senna's for the first time without any incidents. Oh, but there goes number 9 and straight back to the track. Just as I jinxed it, it didn't happen in the first corner, it happened in the second one, Ryan.
Yeah, that...
Oh, wow! That's a brake failure. Just about made it. Go on.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's just a case also of these cars on cold tyres. It's so easy to lose it on lap 1 because the tyres are still getting up to temperature. And you've got to remember, these cars are pretty much from back in the day where there wasn't anything like tyre warmers. So some of these drivers just been caught out.
Yeah, exactly. These are old cross-ply tyres. And someone said once that you could race a whole season with the same set of tires, let alone a full race. They didn't really have tire wear as much, and of course these tires, as a result of that, they're harder and they take a lot of time to heat up. Now, I'm saying that, of course, they didn't race full season with the same tires, but you probably could have. Jorge Nieva there in second place. You can see him just trying to keep up with the Lithuanian driver in the lead, but not quite able to do so here on lap number 1. However, this is the great equalizer. The long front straight, you're gunning uphill, reaching 300 kilometers per hour. That's 186 miles an hour here before coming up into the braking zone once again, 40 Senna's. And it is Valenteus in the lead, and in the second place challenging him is Jorge Nieva, and I believe that's still Nicolas Koki rounding out the top 3.
Yeah, Koki in third, and yeah, this is the thing as well. If Nieva wants to try and challenge for his win, he needs to try and get on the back of Valenteus and try and rattle him a little bit and not let him get away and get into that mindset, get into a groove where you're pretty much just pulling away and just doing your thing as you ride on board with Toko Sada from Japan. And yeah, Hasada is one of the quickest drivers in the 49. Really quick, not afraid to make moves when he needs to. And yeah, his driving style with this car is pretty interesting, but exciting to watch at the same time.
Ooh, yeah, and looking to the inside, I think that's more of getting loose over the curb, really, on the braking. And just as we're watching Togo, you can see how calm those steering movements have to be. There's not a lot of those twitchy, flitchy steering movements that you see on more modern cars. It's more like the steering wheel is big and it's round, just like it's supposed to be in a race car, and you're really more guided with the steering wheel, Ryan. And most of the steering is really done with the rear, no?
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of those things you've got to use a bit of throttle to get the rear end to rotate, and as they come up the hill now, and it looks like Hosada might have a run on the Claridge as they come up to the start-finish line, and we'll try and make a move into turn one, into the Senate S. I don't think it's close enough, but at the moment it looks like Claridge is being a little bit of a cork in the bottle.
Yeah, you know, oh, and that's a braking mistake from Claridge, however, heading into turn number one, just braking a little bit too late, maybe afraid of that pressure coming from Hosada behind him, and that mistake can easily compound into an overtaking opportunity as we come to the Esquina del Lago, the descent into the lake. Turn number 4 here at Interlagos, but Hosada once again not quite close enough. You know, Claridge is known to bike around the world. Well, Hosada might just have to drive around the world to get past him. I don't think he'll give up this position easy.
Yeah, I don't think Claridge will let him by that easy for sure. And Claridge, as we know, he's won a few championships in the 49, and he's got lots of experience with his car, so he'll know how to try and keep Hosada behind him. But as I say that, Hosada closes up on the breaker, and not too far behind these guys as well. You've got Sebastian Tix here as well, another driver that's been around in this car in the community for a very, very long time. So it looks like we might have a bit of a Claridge trend starting to form.
Yeah, just remember, they're not old, they're experienced.
Absolutely, and there's back in front of these guys as well. As I ride on board with Nicola Cocchi as well, just right on the rear of Jorge Neva as well. So it looks like both these guys as well, actually not losing as much touch with Valenteus as I thought they would. But as it looks like Nicola's going to take a look into turn one, is he going to make a move? Nope, he decides against it. And as I talked about Valenteus, he puts in the fastest lap of the race so far.
Yeah, once again, lighting up the board in purple. That seems to be Aurelio's favorite color here today. And we'll get a replay as well. I believe this is going to be what happened in lap number 1. Uwe, one of the drivers, getting caught out, Ryan. And yeah, just one of those things, getting loose there. Lap number 1, you mentioned cold tires. Ooh. But the unfortunate thing, he bounced right back onto the racing line and took out, well, it's a miracle he didn't take out half the field with him, but that was pretty close to it.
Yeah, I think one of the drivers that was caught up in that incident was unfortunately the Danish driver Laust Olsen, and I think John Olsen from America was caught up in that as well, unfortunately. So there was a bit of a wreck fest going on at the moment. Nothing intense though. It's just one of those things. As soon as Ovi hit the wall and bounced back out, so it was always going to be inevitable what was going to happen.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, one of the most terrifying things in any sort of racing, be it sim or real, is when you get a car essentially bouncing right back up the racing line and you're coming through and you have no chance to, you know, avoid the incident. You're just heading into a disaster. Leo Seguiro there, heading for top 10, had a good grid position, and he's right behind Pauli Partanen and Kevin Verbruggen in that battle for 7th position right now in that beautiful Honda livery. And there's something about the liveries of these old race cars, you know. This is just about the time before sponsorships really started to happen. This is when these cars were still painted in national racing colors. So each had their own. That's why you got the British Racing Green, you got the blue of France, essentially. You got the darker blue with white stripes of United States. You got the silver or the white of Germany, and so on and so forth. And Leo there repping the Honda colors, as many of these do. And a good reminder also of the brands that were present in the real life 1967 Grand Prix season and the Grand Prix Legends video game produced by the same company that did iRacing later on back in 1998. You ever played GPL?
I've got to. Well, I've played that a little bit, but not too much. But from the times I have played it, it's always gave me a bit of a nostalgia feel. Just makes me wonder what it was like for the drivers that raced these cars back in the 60s, because yeah, put it this way, they were pretty brave, considering that they were from what I remember, they used to sit on top of the fuel tank.
Oh yeah. Sometimes the fuel tank was sort of below you, sometimes it was sort of around you, in a sense that it was essentially on those sideboards that the camera is essentially on top of part of the fuel tank right now. And these were not really chassis made to same standards as chassis were made today, because once again it's 1967. So there just wasn't burnt materials available. Carbon fiber, forget about it. And Togo Hisada there, we're on board with him just behind Mick Claridge. Still hasn't quite been able to make the overtake happen. And I think this is the point where this group just wants to calm down a little bit. You know, they're in the testing phase. They now got the tires more or less up to temps. And they're just trying to stay behind Nieva and Koki 10, just trying to run away from Claridge, not quite able to do so. So Hisada 10, if he's battling with Claridge right now, then he's gonna lose touch with Koki and Co, and maybe the podium of this race as we're watching Seguro and Partanen go at it now. Verbruggen has been able to pull a 1 second gap behind Pauli Partanen, who once again, as I mentioned, is more used to racing Lotus 79 machinery, which is of course 11 years newer. Slicks and wings, wholly different car to drive. Pauli is a great driver up there, and great to see him spread his wings, proverbially speaking, or should I say clipping his wings and racing here on the 49 as well, but struggling a little bit against Leo there in 8th position, so that's going to be something we're going to be following on as well. Verbruggen now running away from them and in a bit of an empty gap, so to speak. A bit of nowhere there, second back and over 1 second front, so just got to drive his own race. And here we are in the sim room of Nicola Koki, and you can see there, it's not only a sim rig, it's a motion rig. Yeah,
and that's the thing I've noticed as well in iRacing and sim racing in general. You'll see people using VR, motion rigs, and especially motion rigs for that sensation of being bounced around. Kind of similar to what you would get in a real life racing car. So it looks like Nikolai is doing well at the moment in third, and still right behind Nieva, who he's not being able to get by. And Nieva as well doing a good job of keeping him behind. But I think I have to agree, Ozzy, some of these drivers in the field, especially inside the top 10, are maybe just thinking there's no point getting involved in any scraps or doing anything silly at this early stage of the race. Just settle in, just do their thing, and just let the race pan out, and maybe towards the end of the race start making moves.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and that's behind a bit of a battle between Claridge and Hisada, and that's a spin for Mick Claridge, I believe. Togo Hisada made up 2 positions there, got past Nieva as well. Mick Claridge there losing a lot of ground. That wasn't Claridge who spun around, I don't think, but he's back there in his own battle. I believe it may have been Tixier who got spun around.
Yeah, I'm just having a look to see. Who it was. I think that was Tixier, but I would need to go back and look at it from my end. As it looks like he might have just, I think he might have just locked up slightly heading into the hairpin. As I'm looking at a replay from my end, and I think it was. I'm not sure who it was. Sorry, because my replay just glitched out. But yeah, it was one of the front runners anyway.
Yeah, and let's see what happened to Ron Solga there. So. That's actually a lapped car, Ron Solka, who spun around there in front of the leaders and caused a bit of a kerfuffle.
Yeah, and I have to give credit to Ron as well. When he spun, he could have panicked and got back on the power straight away, but he held his brakes. He stayed. He didn't move. He let the cars go by, and after everyone got by him, he reversed all the track. So good heads-up driving.
Yeah, it's a bit of a red-faced moment, really. I mean, what you're trying to do essentially there, okay, don't get in anyone's way, might have damage from lap 1, who knows. Whatever the scenario, he was one lap down, and then, okay, don't screw it up, don't get in anyone's way, oops, I spun. Right in front of the leaders. So that's very fortunate nothing happened, and as you mentioned, good job there by Ron Solka to hold that brake pedal down as you're supposed to do in a spin, and make yourself as predictable as possible, and essentially let the others make the rapid movements, as we are now watching behind from Koki, who's gotten past Hisada as well. And it's suddenly looking very sunny for Nicola Koki there. In second place, chasing that first win of the season. Too bad for him. The driver in the lead is not only 2.7 seconds away, but it's also Albiros Valenteius, so that might be a bit of an uphill battle for Nicola, and I think he's more concerned about the driver behind him as well. Another Honda livery there for Togo Hisada, and Hisada there very close behind him, looking to maybe to the inside into turn number 1. Let's see if Koki gives him the inside. He is sort of defending the middle line and then trying to squeeze Hisada down to the outside. Let's see what Hisada has, trying to go for the crossover maybe into turn number 1, expecting Koki to outbrake himself. That doesn't quite happen, however. Koki able to hold on to that position for now, but Hisada, he's got a decent run off that not at all flat out corner in these cars, so maybe into turn number 4 he's got a chance. There is Nieva and Claridge behind, Tixia catching them up as well, so it's gonna be a great battle, poised to be a great battle for the second position. Hisada there not quite able to do anything. What can Nieva do? Nieva is watching there pretty eagerly as well, letting these two battle for now, but you better believe if Koki and Hisada make a mistake, if they have a small crash into each other, it's gonna be Nieva laughing his way all the way to the bank.
Yep, and yeah, I think Nicola Koki as well has been taking lessons from Jarno Trulli, because he's got a bit of a trend starting to form behind him now.
Well, yeah, that's a bit of a newer driver maybe, Jarno Trulli of course, but both are Italian. I mean, I don't know if we actually saw in the pictures, Koki doesn't quite have the hair that Jarno Trulli had back in the day. Remember that long flowing mane of Jarno Trulli? I always remember that, just breezing in the wind.
Yeah, I remember those days very well.
Yeah, and with those dreadful sunglasses that seemed like, you know, trying to be too cool way back in 2004. Ah, that was a great time, such a great time. And it was only 10 years ago. Anyway, Hisada there now having to defend the inside once again. Actually looking to the inside is Hisada there trying to pass Koki and able to pull it off, but what can Koki do there on the cutback? Absolutely nada. Nothing. Those VR glasses able to give him 3D vision, but they're not able to keep him keep Hisada behind. Now is Nieva's chance maybe. So Nieva is there down in 4th place. He just saw what Hisada did to Koki, and he's trying to strike now as the iron is hot, but he's not able to get close enough. And then there's Claridge, and then there's Tixia, and pulling Verbruggen and behind as well. So we potentially might, and I say might, have a 6-car scrap for the 2nd place when all this is said and done, especially if these two keep on swapping positions. We're only on lap 10, mind you. We're only halfway through the race, and here comes Nieva, but not quite able to pull it off there. That's a very brave move down into turn number 6, but if he would have pulled it off, it would have been very excellent as well. So sort of you're starting to see it right now, Ryan, is that I think some of these drivers, especially Nieva, is sort of trying to catch the guys in front with their pants down, so to speak, trying to go for that surprise move instead of waiting for the main straight.
Yeah, and you can also see that some of these drivers are starting to get a bit more racy now, wanting to try and make moves as we're coming up to the end of lap 10 now, and looking at Mick Claridge as well. So a bit of a trend starting to form, or was starting to form behind the Koki, but since Hisada's got by, this pack's just broken up ever so slightly. But I think, yeah, a lot more drivers just watching the language of their onboards, starting to try and make moves now. And yeah, you can definitely tell that Jorge Nieva wants to try and make a move, because he can see that right in front of him is a possible podium, a possible chance of finish on the podium, I should say.
Yeah, and just a reminder of the championship as well. These guys are all championship protagonists, pretty much in the top 4. So you got these guys, and you're looking at the current standings. Sepp Tixia leading the championship, he's in 5th place. Jorge Nieva 2nd in the championship, well, he's in 4th place. Then you got Nicola Koki, who is 3rd in both, so it's almost reverse. In fact, it is exactly reverse, because Togo Hisada, who's 2nd in this race right now, is 4th in the championship, and guess where Maurice is?
Yep, Andreas is pretty much up the road now, about 3.4 seconds up the road now, so while everyone else is scrapping amongst themselves, this is giving him an opportunity to just pull away and build up that gap.
Yeah, so we got reverse order of the championship here in top 5 for everybody involved, and this is somehow pleasing my OCD, really, and it truly is. So please don't change positions, but also please do, because we want some entertaining racing here, guys, and that's what we're watching. Certainly this race has not disappointed so far here at Interlagos, coming halfway through here. Still a lot of time to go, still a lot of opportunities to make these moves. You saw Nieva there just cutting a bit of grass on that fast corner, the last corner of the track, which is usually a nothing corner. But so many times with this car, Lotus 49, as mentioned, it's got no wings, as you can see. It's got no downforce. In fact, it has lift on the straight line. So the car gets lighter the faster you go, especially the front end. And that means it has really far less cornering grip than anything you are used to in the modern day. So a lot of nothing corners, a lot of corners that don't feel like corners suddenly do become corners.
And we've got a move here. Oh, I thought there was a move going on into the Set S. Is Matthew Maudsley currently down in 14th? It looks like behind him, Maudsley. It looked like Alan Graham was trying to make a move there, or show the nose anyway, to try and put him off. But at the moment, not just battles up at the front, but this is the thing I like about the series as well, Ossian. You might have battles at the front with the usual contenders, but further back in the field, you've always guaranteed close racing and close battles as well.
Absolutely, and that's the great thing about iRacing and the great thing about this series, the rejuvenation of this series, so to speak. If you try to recall where this series was a few years back, smaller grids, you got sort of a dozen drivers maybe showing up for the broadcast race. Now we got almost 40. We got 38 drivers signed up for this race. Sometimes this series splits, and which means they get over 50 drivers per race. So you get of course, the championship fighters, the leading drivers, but then you also got these mid-pack guys, some of them who are on an upward trajectory in their careers. I shouldn't try to pronounce those words. It never goes right. Oh, and Claridge. Something happened to Claridge as we were watching Koki. Now, fight with Nieva there on third place. Nieva trying to get the pass done. Will he be able to pull that off round the outside? It's gonna be quite difficult, but he'll get a better run if he can hold on to it. Going way over the curb, and Koki actually squeezing him out of the track for a moment, but that's not gonna hold Nieva back. Nieva still round the outside into the Esquina del Lago. That's gonna be brave if he can pull it off. Koki there using all of the track, and then some actually barging Nieva out, and that's gonna be Tixia's luck. Perhaps Nieva's folly was Tixia's luck then, because Tixia now is able to hold on to take that fourth position and hold on to it throughout the next corner. But I must say, Nicola Koki there getting very feisty in his defense. Elbows out already on lap 13, and you don't usually really see that in this series. Usually they take it a little bit more calmly. It's a bit more of a gentleman's series, and I don't mean that as in the drivers are slow. No, I mean that there is certain amount of respect being given to other drivers, but Koki there having absolutely none of it.
Yeah, and with Nieva pretty much being forced off, that allowed Sebastian Tixier through to take the position. As you look at Mick Claridge to see what happened. Oh, it just got in the grass.
Yeah, but I don't think that's Mick.
Is that not? Yeah.
Oh.
What is it, Mick?
Oh, Mick is there upside down. Look, that's gotta be a mechanical error, I think, because there was somebody else in front of him getting down in the grass, and I believe Mick may have had a steering wheel failure. 10.
Yeah, I think
just went full left.
I believe that Mick Claridge uses VR as well, so I wonder if that was a possibly VR failure.
Yeah, well, we'll get another replay soon of that one. We just heard indoor headset, so we'll hold on to that one. Meanwhile, Nieva there, just behind Tixia, looking to the outside now, trying to make it work once again. It's not Koki this time, it's Nieva who he's trying to challenge. 10 going for the over-under, down to the inside. If he can make it work, it's gonna be effective, but no. Tixia there, the old Wily Fox saw it coming and just took the racing line into that corner, took it normally. That's the best defense against somebody attempting an over-under. The whole move is based on the car in front outbraking themselves, and if you don't outbrake yourself, you don't have to worry about it. There, Nieva 10 trying once again as they go through some lap markers there. Bolika, I believe, in car number 39 there, giving way nice and easy, and Nieva still trying to get those lost positions back. It's gonna be so frustrating for him seeing Koki drive away when it could have been his podium, and instead he keeps losing time, dropping time behind Tixier, who got that position for free, but that's the nature of racing, and now Nieva just got to get his head down and keep on racing. Meanwhile, we get another angle of what happened to Mick Claridge, and just drove into a back marker.
Yeah,
and
that
straight into the dividing barrier too. And that's not gonna be fun with any car.
That was a
49.
Yeah, that was inches from being collected by another car as well. That was going by and that was so unfortunate because Mick was having a good run, but I think I think the
speaking of runs.
It looks like we might have a change of position coming up possibly for second place. Actually, the battle is still going on for second place, I should say, as Hassad is still holding that position. But Koki, it was causing a bit of a bottleneck now. But behind Hassad, it's pretty much the other way around now.
Yeah, look at Hassad there, and just missing the apex a little bit, difficult on the brake. Maybe he's overheating those tires a little bit, Ryan. looking that way, and Hisada has a pretty feisty driving style, so it wouldn't be too much of a surprise to see him overheat the car, starting to struggle with the car a little bit towards the later portion of this race. Let's see how he gets the car turned in here, just having to take that tidal line, so to speak, to make sure it turns in, and that's completely valid here at that corner, but it seems to me that Koki has a little bit of an easier time with his car at this moment, anyway.
Yeah, we all know that Togo likes to have a bit of a sideways car or oversteery car, so that's the thing with this car as well. If you overdrive, it can punish the tyres, and you can overheat them slightly sometimes, so it might be that Togo's maybe just abusing the tyres ever so slightly, and then he's basically, that's what he's struggling with at the moment. But further back, the battle for 13th is going on as well between Jason Clapper, Matthew Maudsley, another Clapper, and Jordan as well, by the looks of it. So yeah, sorry, not Jordan. Yeah, further back.
Well, Rodriguez, Clapper, and Maudsley.
Yeah, so, yeah. As I get this battle was going on for the 5th place as well. Nieva still not being able to get by Tixier as well. So yeah, Sebastian Tixier being shown Fox and not willing to let him go by.
No, not at all, and you can see down the inside, Tixier, Ter, still holding on to that position, just taking the inside very early. You saw a very aggressive looking move, exiting the Senna S, and there from Tixier, just basically making sure he's got the inside line, making sure that, okay, Nieva, if you want to go past me, you'll have to go the long way around. And Nieva probably doesn't like going the long way around anymore, but he might not have any other choice other than the over-under, just trying to essentially force Seb Tixier into a mistake. But how often have you really seen Seb Tixier make mistakes? He's got the experience, so it's going to be very difficult for Nieva to get that position. Meanwhile, Kevin Verbruggen, who's been bit all by his lonesome since the start of the race, now has a chance as we are watching the battle for, I believe this is 17th position, Graham and then Tuba and Cam Porter there as well. You see Cam Porter, the experienced driver, always a pleasure to see him wear the GSRC t-shirt and hearing him in interviews sometimes, looking to the inside of Tuba and getting the position done as well. That's a pass for 19th for Cam Porter, the man out of Virginia. I wonder if we'll see him on his home track later on this evening in the IMSA Vintage Series. But going back to that battle for 2nd place, it's Hisada and Koki and Tixier and Nieva. It is looking like a one big battle, but really it's more like two separate battles around the same space and time, where you got Hisada versus Koki, and then a little bit further back you got Tixier versus Nieva. And that's Hisada straight to the wall. That's Hisada straight to the wall, out from the 2nd place, and he's out of this race.
Yeah, I think
unbelievable.
I think that hitting the wall might have gave him suspension damage or wheel damage, or it wouldn't surprise me anyway if he got a meatball flag, because that was a very big hit.
Yeah, and look at Tixier then trying to make hay while sun shines, suddenly seeing his chance to go all the way up to 2nd in this race. He's challenging Koki, he's to the inside, that's turning to the outside now, and no way he can pull it off from there. And how about Nieva? He was so close to the podium earlier on, getting forced out by Koki, but that little bit of a situation, well, I say situation, very unfortunate crash for Hisada, has now re-sparked this battle, where it's no longer 2 battles of 2, it's now 1 battle of 3, and Koki and Tixier and Nieva, and all of a sudden you find yourself in a weird position if you are Seb Tixier, because you're not only defending right now, you're also attacking, and you have to be so mindful of your mistakes. A little bit of contact there, Koki sliding, 4-wheel sliding onto the grass, and that's gonna ruin his run down to the straight. Now Nieva momentarily trying to look to the middle. There is Tixier on the inside, Nieva in the middle, and Koki having to give it out, having to give it up around the outside, just looking back for now, and it's Jorge Nieva taking 2 positions and upside down. That's a horrible fate for Seb Tixier. So that's 2 of our podium drivers out. Make it 3 as Nieva has to retire due to damage there into the outside of turn number 3. And all of a sudden you got Kevin Verbruggen in 2nd place.
I was about to say that, Ocean. Who's the driver that's benefited the most from just hanging back and not getting involved in any scraps? Kevin Verbruggen up into 2nd place from what was it, 6th place?
Yeah, something along those lines. We said how it's been a quiet race for him. Well, he just saw all the drama unfold right in front of his eyes. We're watching Chapman meanwhile as Fechner makes a mistake in front of him. So that's Hannah Fechner making a bit of a mistake and potentially a position for Jason Clapper actually. Because he's only 1 second back as it looks right now. And Hannah Fechner in 8th position might be coming under some real pressure soon. And Clapper is pulling Wells, and he's not really pulling Maudsley and Rodriguez behind, but that's gonna be a scrap for 8th position as this race comes towards its close. Cam Porter, meanwhile, continuing his ascent up the field. He got that position from Tuba earlier on, and now he just got another one, making his way all the way up to 16. That's gonna be Graham up next, but he's way up the road, so might have to wait some time is Cam Porter. But great job for Cam there as well. And appropriately, given his name, he's got a face cam as well.
Yep, and great to see Cam having a good run at the moment. And maybe doesn't qualify that well, but I've always found him to be more of a racing driver as he runs wide slightly. And I don't want to jinx him, but Cam always seems to be one of those drivers that makes progress as the race goes on. As further back up towards the back of the field, it looks like Jason Clapper may have just gained another position.
Yeah, got past Hannah Fechner. We saw Hannah making that mistake earlier on. Very, very unfortunate for her. And that means position for Jason Clapper 10. Speculating about that 1 lap ago, but Hannah still looking back into the Esquina del Lago, not quite able to get alongside, however, and Wells is there looking back as well. Wells is just sort of trying to catch up to these two, hoping they start scrapping. And you know that feel, Ryan, when you're just watching two guys sort of start to battle 1.5, 2 seconds ahead of you, and you're just hoping that you're just basically the cheerleader behind them going, fight, 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 so you can join that battle and potentially get both positions, as we've seen so many times before. Kevin Verbruggen using that very, very well up in 2nd position, and I think it might be a chance for Jason Wells as well in 10 to get some positions towards the later portion of this race. But you see Kevin Verbruggen there, the Benelux driver, of course, going up to the podium, and I'll just have to take a close look and see how many times he's been on the podium in this season, and I believe the answer is nada.
Yeah, I was going to say, I quickly checked through my notes to see if Kevin's took a podium in this series, and I think if he holds on for this 2nd place, or finishes on the podium anyway, this will be his first podium in the series. And also in the broadcast races, I'll look at the replay of Nieva and Texier, and it just looked like one of those incidents, Ozzy, that pretty much it's just two cars just don't fit into a tiny space, and unfortunately Nieva and Texier got caught up there, and Texier was the unfortunate victim. It got flipped over. Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, if you put two cars in the same space at the same time, that's going to be an accident. It always will be. And it was this time as well. You see Kevin Verbruggen there sliding a little bit. And I'm looking at the stats once again, and he was 3rd in Michigan earlier this season. But first of all, that's an oval race. And second, oval races don't have podiums, so I don't think it counts. They have the victory lane.
Oh yeah, you had to go there, Ozzy, didn't you? I'm keeping well out of that debate, but but on a serious note as well, it's good to see Kevin up there. He's been one of those drivers that's impressed me a lot over maybe the last couple of seasons, and he's really improved big time, and it's good to see him up there in 2nd place at the moment, being rewarded for his efforts. But still, he's got to hold off Nicola Koke and the Japanese driver of Togo Hosada, who's pretty much on a mission to try and catch back up to this battle in front of him. But I think Kevin will not want to give up this 2nd position without a fight, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, and as well, look who's in 5th place at the moment. Speaking of surprising drivers, Leo Securo. We mentioned him being starting in 10th position, I believe it was in this race, 9th or 10th, can't recall exactly, and 10 just making up a couple of positions, essentially not being overly aggressive, but he's behind Togo Hisada now. So that's a chance for a top 4, and who knows what will happen between these two that you see on your screens right now as well. Verbruggen and Koki, if something happens, then he could find himself as a surprise podiumist, but that's still a long way away. We are on the final lap So you still have 2 kilometers to survive if you are Verbracken and Koki. You have much less to survive if you're Audrius Valenteus. He's been almost a shadow away from our screens all throughout this race. That's because he did not have to battle. He essentially was wearing a dress coat. He was wearing the Sunday finest into this Saturday race, and he came out unscathed, not even having to brush the dust off his shoulders. Audrius Valenteus and his lucky seventh win of the season for the Lithuanian driver, propelling him way up in the standings, but we still got a battle for second place. It's Verbracken and it's Koki. Can Koki do anything? The answer is no. Kevin Verbracken, second place, and we got a photo finish for Ford, but it was just about Togo Hisada holding off by the skin of his teeth, half a tenth of a second, with Pauli Partanen finishing the race in 6th, and Steve Maurice. What a quiet race it's been for Steve Maurice. He's finishing in 7th place. Klappa, Fekne, and Wells gonna be rounding out your top 10, I believe, but we'll take them all across the line, across Barney to Flagman as well. Klappa there, you can see Fekne in the background, and then Wells just about holding on to that 10th position from Matthew Maudsley. Then Kurt Klapper finishing 14th behind Turk, behind Rodriguez. Wow, what a race we had on our hands, Ryan. That was a doozy.
That was absolutely awesome stuff, and brilliant racing throughout the field, and plenty of drama towards the end as well, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And there's going to be a lot of discussions after the race as well. I just hope we get some of those guys here for interview as well. Just might have to put it on a 7-second delay, you know. Anyway, Audrius Valenteus winning this race at Interlagos. As mentioned, his 7th win of the season here at Grand Prix Legends Lotus 49 Series. And Kevin Verbracken finishing in 2nd place, and Nicola Koki rounding out the podium in 3rd. Then it's going to be Togo Hisada in 4th, just ahead of Leo Securo. And Pauli Partanen in 6th, Steve Morris in 7th, Jason Clapper in 8th, Hannah Fechner 9th, and Jack Wells, sorry, not Jason Wells, Jack Wells, gonna be rounding out that top 10.
And Matthew Maudsley finishes in 11th, with Mike de Turk finishing in 12th after starting 36 on the grid, so a great drive by him. Juan Rodriguez in 13th, with Kurt Clapper in 14th, with Alan Graham 15th, and then you've got Cam Potter in 16th, with Thomas Tuba at 17th, and then Jan Stefan in 18th, 19th is Jonathan Jordan, and then 20th you've got Elia Minghele.
Yep, and as we go further down the standings, we see some drivers one lap down. Xavier Garcia, David Muse, Jorge Nieva as well scored as 3 laps down. Robert Plumley 2, Seb Tixier, Matt Muggleton, Tobias Herrenby, Branislav Holika, Michael Grisinger, and Mick Claridge classified as retired from this event, as will be the drivers you can see on your screen here on the last page. A lot of them victims of that very, very unfortunate first lap incident, you gotta say, Ryan. But quickly, before we go to the interviews, just, you know, couple of words from you. A lot of surprises and a lot of drama. Very fitting for a championship that is coming towards its close.
Yeah, there was plenty of drama in the race, and I think it was a fantastic race, and I think it showed yet again why the Lotus 49 series is probably one of, in my opinion, one of the best around, and it's got such a great community. If there was a vote for driver of the race, you would easily say Andreas Valenteus, but for me it's got to be Kevin Verbracken, because he just kept his nose clean, kept out of the trouble, and he's been rewarded with a 2nd place finish.
I mean, yeah, and shout out to Mike de Turk as well, just making up something like 20 positions in that race is gotta be an unbelievable feeling. Now, I believe we got a couple of drivers heeding to our hopes, and indeed coming to an interview. Kevin Verbracken first here, congratulations, 2nd place here at Interlagos. If somebody told you before the race, hey, you would finish on the podium today, I believe you would have taken it, no?
I would definitely have taken that. I don't know what happened with the guys from, but yeah, pushing all race, trying to get near them. But yeah, looking back at the race, it was probably a good thing I wasn't in there, seeing at all the things, all the crashes that happened.
Yeah, it was very eventful, let's put it that way, out at the front of the field. A bit of drama, lots of discussions later, I'm sure of that. But we're not here to talk about the drama. We're here to talk about you, Kevin. How was it out there for you today?
Yeah, it was for me, frankly, a bit of a hectic race as well. Even though I didn't have a lot of overtaking on lap 1, somebody completely missed turn 4. Had to dodge them out of the way, lost position through that. Had to fight my way past. Yeah, then lost the lead group a little bit and just had to keep fighting and keep dodging cars around me. So not just the leaders as well, also some of the back marks had some issues, but yeah, good fun. Kept it clean, and that was what's mattered in this race.
Yeah, very much so, and lots of points in the bank. You're sitting currently in 6th place in the championship standings, a little bit behind Audrius and Togo and so on and so forth. Of course, Togo, of course, Audrius being Audrius, got another victory out there today. But how much does it? I mean, it's a weird question to ask a driver, but I'm gonna ask it as a fellow driver anyway. How much of a confidence boost does it give you to know that on a good day, like you can sort of hold on to that lead pack, you can hold on to their pace? Does that give you confidence for the last 2 rounds of the season to maybe find that extra couple of tenths per lap?
Yeah, definitely. It's I've been able to keep up with the lead pack now in a couple of different kind of tracks, which is very good for the future. Still need to work on my consistency, of course. Had some bad races in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, to finish on the podium, not just on well, yeah, in this case there was a bit of accidents, but I've also had a podium on pure pace recently, so yeah, that's very nice. And I'll try to sorry.
But yeah, it's fine, and it's great to see that upward trajectory from you as I get my English in order and my teeth back in. So, Kevin, a podium out here today, obviously a great result for you. Is there anyone you would like to thank, anyone you would like to give a shout out?
I want to give a shout out to, frankly, to Mick, because we recently got back racing, and I think it's amazing just how fast he got back on the pace. He's also been creating some setups, trying stuff out, and some of the things he's done I'm trying to copy as well. So yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, great shout out to Mick. He's a great member of the community, and great to see that he's back here out on track. Anyway, thank you for the interview, Kevin. Congratulations, and go enjoy the champagne.
Thank you.
That was Kevin Verbruggen finishing 2nd here today, and next up here we'll have Ryan, who's found one of our battle protagonists here today, I believe.
Yep, I have Togo Hasada sitting with me, and excuse me, Togo. It looked like a hectic race for you. You were involved in plenty of battles, and towards the end, it looked like you had a little incident, clipping the wall. Was that just was it your mistake, or was it just being caught out by the speed difference?
Yeah, just today's race is full of the battle, and I'm enjoying very much. And that incident is just Nicola is just behind me, and he tries to make a move, and there's a little bit touch. Yeah, he's right front, and my right rear little bit left rear, sorry, my left rear and his right front a little bit touch, and that caused me wheel damage. But just a little bit, so that I can. I thought that yes, it's just over, but the car is still drivable, so I just try to take the car to the finish, bring the car to the finish at the after the incident. Car is just a little bit balance change, so just especially the turn 1, turn 3, and a lot of left turns just very very oversteer, but I'm very happy to take a checker flag.
Yeah, how did the car feel around this Interlagos track? Did you find it difficult? Did you find it suited your driving style, or is it because you noticed that you were making some slight mistakes, missing corners from time to time? Was that just struggling with tyres, or was it just a setup issue?
Yeah, this truck is very old-fashioned and suits the Lotus 49 very much. But always the Interlagos is a very high track temperature, and today's I think this 43 Celsius or something like that. So if once you will take a mistake, and once we will overheat the tires once, and then they're very difficult to cool down again. So that's why very a lot of drivers have drifting everywhere.
And excuse me, looking ahead to Long Beach next week, is it a track that you enjoy? Is it a track that you enjoy with this 49?
Yeah, this main main straight. It's very very tricky with this car in Long Beach. Yeah, and very it provides a very lot of opportunity to make a move into turn one. So it's gonna be a very very great battle out there, and I'm looking forward to race next week.
And lastly, before we let you go, Togo, anyone that you want to give a shout out or thank you to?
Yeah, just my families and the Lotus 49 communities, and of course the GSRC broadcast team.
Great to hear, and we appreciate the kind words, Togo. And we'll look forward to seeing you at Long Beach next week. And again, congratulations on the P4.
Thank you.
As that was Togo Hosada joining us, and I believe that's it for. Actually, I take it back, Ossian. I believe we've got one of the maestros from the 49 in the shape of McLaren.
Yeah. One more driver here from the interviews, and we are joined by Mick Claridge. Mick, now obviously.
Hold on, Ozzy. Let me just say, I know there's a lot of guys to get through today, so if you just want to abuse me instead of ask me questions, just go for it, mate.
Okay. So no, actually, you're the last one we're going through.
Okay.
The rest of them can finish on the podium if they want to get into the interview. So, so Mick, you started 5th. It was a great battle all along, a good battle going on, and then you slammed into the pit wall. I mean, what? How can you slam into the pit wall at Interlagos with 10 years experience? Tell us.
Do you know what? Even if I hadn't have hit the back marker, which was neck code, by the way, Ozzy, don't even forget it. It was covered. Yeah, I would have hit the inside wall trying to miss him. I just got so confused. And it's not his fault at all. So he let Seb through fine. Seb went through, and then he sort of moved to the right. Then he moved a little bit to the left, and I just thought, oh, maybe he's going for the apex. And right at the wrong time, I thought, oh no, he's not. So I tried to go left right at the last second and hit him. But yeah, absolutely not his fault at all. It was just my brain. Just that Windows 3.1 noise that happened in my head.
yeah. Just modem loading sounds.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I reckon crash of the season though. You sure? It's got to be, isn't it? Record of season. That is straight into the tires. Side on.
Yeah. No, it was spectacular. It was absolutely spectacular. Just in all the wrong ways for you. Now, just follow-up question on that. Really, I mean, the driver was a lap down, and you thought they were going for the apex. What's the thinking behind that?
Well, I didn't know. I really didn't know, and so that's what happened there. As soon as Seb got through, like I say, his car moved slightly left, then right, then left again, but not his fault at all. He actually thought. I think what happened was, as I was catching up behind him, I was sort of following his line. When he moved left, I sort of moved right, so I think he thought I was going to try and go round the right-hand side of him. So that made him think, oh, okay, I'll go left, and then I went left. And then that happened. So that's why I'm saying it's nothing to do with his driving whatsoever. It was completely 100% my fault. That was.
Well, there's a great Toto song, and I'm not talking about the Africa one. I'm talking about Hold the Line as an advice for back markers there as well, even though it was not their fault at this time. So, Mick, let's talk about happier subjects. Let's talk about your comeback to the series. Of course, we've missed you, mate. I'm honest.
Cheers, mate.
We missed you, mate. And just getting a shout out already from Kevin. From making setups as well. So how was it for you getting back on the saddle, getting off the saddle and back on the saddle, so to speak, with this series and
do you know what?
Getting back to racing?
Yeah, I came back last week and I had so much trouble just getting back used to the VR and stuff and mainly the brake pedal. It took me ages to get used to the brake pedal. In the end, I did. And this week was going really, really well. I mean, we had a midweek race, and I was like following Audrius. I was back on pace. Everything was going really well, and finished less than a second behind him. And then today I just lost all my pace. I got no idea why. Qualifying was terrible. I had a really good qualifying lap, so I thought I was going to be well up there. So I was a bit shocked when I was 5th. But but it's been good. I feel comfortable back in the car again. Everything's all right. I'm eating the right food now when I'm practicing. Someone over there give me a thumbs up for that. Yeah. So no, it's all good, man. It's all good. So I'm back here for about a year and a half, and then I'm coming to visit the events again.
Yeah. Let's hope that's the case. And we got 2 races to go in the season. I suppose we'll see you there.
Yeah, Long Beach is brilliant. Can't wait for Long Beach. And the selection and they're terrible race for me, mate. But Long Beach, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, gonna be brilliant to see you there. And all I can say to that is thank you for the interview, Mick, and better luck next time.
Yeah, that's the same right. Or have you abused me yet? Maybe not.
I abused you enough, I think.
Yeah. All right, mate. Cheers, mate. I love you, Aussie.
Yeah, I love you too.
See you, mate.
See you. Okay, that's Mick Claridge there for the last interview of the day, as we mentioned, and I believe it's now time to put this show to a close. Thanks to the team today, Ryan, Christian, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, website, and merchandise store, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Next race is at Long Beach, as we mentioned, Saturday, November 30th, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and that's gonna be around 15:30 finish time, 1:30 p.m. if you're in the UK, 2:30 if you are in Central Europe. And make sure to check out our other broadcasts listed here on your screens as well. Up next, we will have IMSA Vintage from Virginia International Raceway, and that's going to be just in a few hours' time, exactly at noon Eastern Time. And before we close it off completely, don't forget to check out the iRacing Black Friday sale, which is going on right now. 50% off for all new memberships, 25% off for early renewals and reactivations. Black Friday on now at iRacing.com/Black Friday through December the 2nd. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.